Good morning, everyone. My name is Tan Kian Kiong, and I would like to present to you my Design Studio 5 project, starting from site synergy, program, urban and building strategy, to eventually the final project, a synthetic gesture which named the Rehabilitation and Euthanasia Center. Throughout the site analysis process, in my perception, the fascinating part of the proposed site, Frog Hill, is the behavior of nature after the consequences of a series of activities taking part by human beings in a different period. The story timeline from initially a flat rubber plantation land to industrialized mining activities to the uniqueness of terrains nowadays. And of course, the site is still revamping to a better direction. The nature revamp is built in an explorative manner in order to appreciate the articulation between the distinctive terrains that caused by artificial activities and how the greatness of nature reacts to it. Nevertheless, to show the beauty of how nature gradually adapt and dominate a certain environment that was once devastating by human beings is made to be ever-changing with plantings, so as to imitate the transformation of site, as a respect of taking the character of site into considerations. Taking a step ahead, in terms of program implementation, a trending issue that catch my eyes, which I have been seeing it quite often recently, news with people committing suicide are getting popular globally, including Malaysia, leads to a fact that the commit suicide rate has becoming the second leading cause of death among human beings. But why people seeking for suicide? One of the major issues that causes the current situation is that there is no appropriate platform that could introduce to either physically or mentally ill people, resulting in a circumstance where they could not self-heal themselves. And the only way to heal themselves or to be safe to escape from the situations is commit suicide. The sand depth is presented in an attractive manner. On the board that represents by the orange color, people are stepping and trapping into the mass with a variety of approaches to kill themselves. For example, hanging, drowning, jump from high place, and so on, which is the most used method in commit suicide in real life. People are suffering from illness or other factors, no matter physically or psychologically. Therefore, why not we provide the solution for them? To alternate the terrible situations, a platform is proposed to rationally resolve the current trend of suiciding. It is a platform provided for painless assisted dying, which is euthanasia, for people with thought to end their life or suffer from terminal illness, or rethink their decision eventually. So on the board that represents by green color, there are three phases introduced which including alive, dying and euthanasia all the way up. From the alive stage, people expose themselves to a positive and playful environment. Moving on to the dying stage, people are being counseled, advised and giving the autonomous to decide whether to continue to proceed to euthanasia stage, which is the painless assisted dying. The overall system actually acts as a guidance to help them. By doing this, none of the patients would commit suicide randomly without counsel or with pain. This is the story and where the drawings are named the sand death. Also, in consideration of environmentally friendly, liquid cremation and capsula mundi are proposed which we will mention later. With the information gathered and through observation of the site surroundings, the nearest hospital at Kubang Semang take at least 22 minutes to arrive to Frog Hill, and the facilities are not comprehensive enough for the local. Therefore, why not Frog Hill as an alternative to be the next medical services master plan proposal to serve the community as well? And here comes the idea of the fluorescence. So a list of space mechanism is produced to measure each elements that a master plan will need in order to execute smoothly. From how people getting know the fluorescence, approaching to the site by what method, public or private transportation, directing the users to the department of programs, and eventually leaving the site. From there, it developed into the fluorescence master plan. The core idea of the master plan is to transform this former brownfield site into a vibrant and desirable campus-like medical sector, at the same time ensuring the overall integrity, diversity, activity, and low-impact development of existing ecological system. Therefore, master plan segmented into three zonings, which including the key site, the memorial garden, and the existing frog hill. The medical buildings are placed in a cluster form throughout the key site, from initially a life stage at the entrance, moving to euthanasia, bereavement, funeral, and to afterlife memorial garden, but all are connecting by a centralized green belt. Over the northeast side, the memorial gardens are incorporated with the medical sector, and also an intention to remain the existing appearance but in another approach. With the implementation of Castola Mundi, which turning their body into trees, is environmentally friendly yet can preserve the site, solving multiple issues at the same time. Looking into a micro perspective, a building program mechanism are produced as well to making sure that the main focus of programs and the relationship in between. So from previously the ever-changing of site character, the programs are to be implemented with modular construction, with the pedestrian promenade, vehicle roadway, and other community spaces. Circulation through building and mechanism implementations are being considered, it resulting into a puzzle-like building footprints. The models shows that the building design could be altered within the degree of privacy according to program needs, which is a feature that we will actually need it for euthanasia zoning. From the initial stage of building strategy, the programs are being refined and subcategorized into primary and secondary programs to ensure the relationship and linkage between the spaces. The Shared Ward, Rehabilitation Hub, and Euthanasia Hub are the primary program, and the rest are the secondary ones. From the primary programs, the Rehabilitation Hub taking a major proportion as compared to others, and further categorized into physical, psychological, and social rehabilitation. To further allocate it, the programs are being placed accordingly following the needs of the space. As we can see following the colors, ground floor are more towards community gathering and for public usage, and upper floors are more towards patient usage. To strike a balance between building form design in terms of design principles, positive and negative spaces, solid and void allocation are being thought, with considerations to optimize circulations, create gathering pocket spaces, and engage with site contacts. After that comes to further refine modular construction and sustainability feature articulations. And here comes the Rehabilitation and Euthanasia Center. As easily observed, the building is created by a system of grids with the application of modular construction typology that I've mentioned few times since presentation till now. So by what approach and idea of how I implementing the modular construction is starting from a single grid. The grid is utilizing universal dimension of all the materials and being further split into main grid and subgrid. From a simple set of grid, it could form a variety of components like straight furniture, building block, different types of platform, and structural vertical blocks. Starting from platforms, throughout the building, a series of platforms have been developed and applied into building itself to encounter various possible circumstances with various configurations. In terms of circulation, in consideration of medical sector, each of the areas are designated to be disabled friendly. Therefore, fire staircase and two types of ramp are developed according to the grids. Instead of staircase, Ramps are playing an important role when facing fire accident, as they could help the disabled people to escape from the building more conveniently. The first design of Lego brick that molded on 1949 still fits fine with any new Lego brick design today. It is made possible because of the consistency in grids and rules behind the interlocking systems. It could be foreseen the possibilities of making modular components and availability of integrate it into something else to accommodate different size of programs and for different purposes according to the needs of time, just like playing Lego. With the guidance of modular grids, various types of configurations have been thought and creatively planned accordingly based on the nature of the programs and activities. It could be enclosed for specialist office, semi-open for the reception, etc. It not only showcasing the possibilities that brought by a simple set of grid that is not limiting architecture, but as a guideline for further explorations on various needs of spaces, actually is contributing to the quality of spaces as a box could create beautiful spaces as well by all means. And putting it into bigger perspective, by utilizing the aforementioned variations and configurations to create scenarios from different design principles. Within the scenario, there are four types of scenarios have been integrated and hidden into the plan, which in utilizing zigzag, linear, plaza, and radial principle. Plaza scenarios are the most implemented one in the building design to encourage human interactions and to be the knots between the community. Create an autonomous community and bringing the pain from yesterday towards better tomorrow is the ideal vision of the building orientation. A company with supporting design feature, including biophilic approach that connect the nature with the users, open plan and porosity that optimize the interaction between human and nature and giving a sense of spacious towards users, which eventually creating a friendly and welcoming space that will be able to invite the one who are suffering from pain. Starting from a single modular component unit, place it to the designated proposed site, let the component follow and embrace the site profile. Place the components intricately, which also the implementation of furniture, sittings, pocket plantings, and elevator platform to weave it up the needs of space. Towards the site engagement, due to its nature of medical sector master plan, it could be accessed by both pedestrian and vehicle, especially at the moment where it is in emergency, but however, both are being separated for optimization of pedestrian experiences. Parking and loading bay are focused on one side for easier circulations and to reduce noise that coming all around. And of course, the building is disabled friendly. The building is placed according to the program dissection and exploded building program applications. More refined zoning between Rehabilitation Hub, Share Ward, and the Euthanasia Hub, which categorize into purple, yellow, and blue color. Ramps are provided for rehabilitation and euthanasia hub, especially rehabilitation because of the three subcategories programs. The share ward is using large size lift to ensure the ward bed can be fitted in. Moving on to first floor, a linkage is provided from the share ward to the R&E hub, the placement of building components. The self-reflecting board is one of the major spaces throughout the building. To the second floor where the rooftop garden and euthanasia execution space are located. The rooftop garden are specifically for the patients to have a briefing space as well as taking a glance on the beautiful of the Frog Hill itself. The topmost floor of the building is the gym. As compared to the Euthanasia hub, it is symbolism that their life is towards a better and recovering condition. From just now the aforementioned, it forms the entire building of the R&E hub, which is 4-story, 2-story, and 3-story respectively. In addition, to achieve a green building and bringing outside in, biophilic design is implemented in the form of planter box tower with rainwater harvesting tank. The site plan basically showing how the building merged into the site and articulating with the centralized green belt as well as the memorial garden in front, also with the relationship between other buildings. As from the other floor, you could observe that the floor area is getting smaller and smaller, representing the accentuating of the quality and usage of spaces. Elevations that showcasing the various of height although in the same floor, ranging from 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Section that indicating the various programs that working in between each floors. Design principle and features such as centralized organization, visual connections of building, zoning separations have been implemented into the building design, just to name a few. Lastly, in order to bring the building form from dream to real life, construction technique is the key. A thorough study of modularity and its construction detail and structural jointing have been researched and developed to fit into the proposed building. Because of the nature of its construction typology, all of the components are to be prefabricated and assembled on site. Meanwhile, minimizing the impact of site. It is made possible with all these technical details. So a short clip is prepared for you to have a more clear vision of the Rehabilitation and Euthanasia Center after this. That's all for my presentation. Thank you for your time.